Yeah, also talking about Turd, he only has another 100 or so mana to stack up on his mana mune, and then he's going to start hurting a whole lot more. So that'll probably be coming in the next 2 or 3 minutes. So something that they, Legacy of Elford might have to start respecting is the Jace mana mune, because it is a big power spike for him.
Well, Brinks has to be very careful, gets hit by the Death Sentence. Lord's gets locked up from the Dark Binding though. But Brinks simply turns well to safety. Very well timed though, securing that red buff. Dragon is up in 30 seconds as well though, so have to be quite careful. And the Flash, being banned up by Funeral Parlor. Big summon spell, especially going into Dragon momentarily.
The Spear's coming out, just hurting so much. And that is definitely the power. No team... we mentioned that Legacy of Elford are not really respecting the Annie too much and building no MR, but equally on the side of Galena Boys, there is no MR being built up versing the Nidalee as well. So those spears are going to hurt. I mean, all it takes is a Dark Binding into a spear and somebody's pretty much dead. It looks like they are going to pick up the third dragon as well.
A third dragon is uncontested. There comes the ultimate from Funeral Parlor. Not going to find its target though, so it's their third dragon stack in favor of Legacy of Elford. Alright, granted, they're behind in turrets. They're even on kills, only 1k gold behind, but those dragon stacks are going to mean something the later the game goes on.
And look at the ward coverage of Legacy of Elford around that dragon pit. It's just a forest of wards that Galena Boys have no vision whatsoever inside that pit. It's just the power of vision. They could not contest that dragon at all because they couldn't see anything anywhere near it. Their Legacy of Elford have the pinks down, and they had just complete and total control of that pit. So a really good move to pick up that dragon right there.
We're now seeing Legacy of Elford trying to siege up into that mid lane. Yeah, absolutely, trying to siege up into that mid lane. It's already quite low. Turd himself had to make an appearance just to scare them away though, but he's taking quite a bit of poke simply from Brinks. That Prey Seeker does do a bit of damage if left unchecked. This also allows Ford E2 to split push if he wants to, but doesn't have that teleport, so he's also making his way as well into that mid lane. And wow, Legacy of Elford really want that middle tier 1 turret.
It's very hard to siege against champions like a Jace. And I mean, 30 minutes in, 14 to 14, it is incredibly even. Obviously, Galena Boys do have that gold lead, but Legacy of Elford do have 3 dragons under their belt. Most of the gold lead for Galena Boys is those 4 turrets. And it will be a lot more even. This mid turret's going to fall now, so they finally get what they are after, but they still are behind 700 gold, but very, very close game so far.
Galena Boys couldn't really defend that turret for so long. The spears from Hectox are doing quite a bit of damage. He's backing up now, so he might be able to finally afford that Rabadon's death cap, and that's just going to do a lot of damage. In fact, yes, he does. Those spears are now going to do a lot of damage.
Not to mention there are so many of them coming out because of those Lucids.
Yeah, definitely. And Vi has finished that Sunfire Cape now on the side of Galena Boys. We'll have to see if he does decide to pick up something like a Banshees. Just something to deal with the Nidalee spears, because, I mean, right now you're looking at Jace is, you know, 1 spear on Jace, 1 spear on Annie or Lucian, and they're at least half health just from 1 spear. And obviously, as you mentioned, the Lucidity boots, the spears are just going to be coming out so fast. It's just really scary to try and siege up against Nidalee at the moment. And of course, she still has the Lich Bane for the all-in damage as well, so yeah, this Nidalee is looking really scary right now.
Both teams still not sure what to do, all just chilling around in that mid lane. They did send off the Funeral Parlor to free farm in that bot lane, but even Fort E2's gone up to that top lane to split push that himself. Does have teleport though, so he can teleport if needs to get into the fight and into the backline of the enemy team. He's doing quite well himself. Got that Triforce and Blade of the Ruin King and even a Giant Spell. So he's gone for a little bit of tankiness right there.
Yeah, it's definitely a wise choice of him to pick it up, because if you look at his team, Rek'Sai, once again, as you mentioned, he's gone with the early Hydra, so he's not going to be tanky anytime soon. Aurelia is so far ahead. She's got the Triforce. He's got the Blade of the Ruin King. It's definitely time for him to pick up something tanky. You know, maybe a Sunfire Cape, maybe a Randuin's. He just needs to be able to live through the burst of the Annie, through the burst of the Jace, to be able to truly sort of exploit the item lead that he has at the moment. Because if he jumps in and dies instantly, then that Trinity Force and Bork aren't going to be saving him.
42's working up onto that tier 2 turret in the top lane. He will be able to secure that, so that's the 4th turret of the game. Going towards Legacy of Alpha, but 42 is not giving up here. He flashes up on the turret, locks it up in the stun. He's gonna fall instantly. That's the Triforce where the Ruin King build. Now back into the bot lane. Blue Eyes Wacky gets hit by the Dark Binding. He falls down too. But here comes Gophers. Flash tipping. Picks up 2. He gets knocked up by Brinkstones. Ostrich, who gets the assist on that. But it's not over yet. Funeral Pilot, can he beat his team up? But oh my gosh, the damage from Ostrich, but he gets saved. Blue Brownies comes in with his solid battery, trying to get up on the Ostrich, but they do dodge. The ultimate, it's not enough though. Now Brinks is the next target. Can he get by the zap? No, he doesn't. He's trying to get away, but Blue Brownies is on the chase, gets the knock up, gets the knock back himself, picks up that kill.
There's the vault
But
break.
meanwhile, all this is happening. Fort E has been hitting up onto that top inhibitor turret, takes that. And now 5-4, gold advantage is now going towards the side of Legacy of Alford.
And then when you also think about the fact that they have 3 dragons with another dragon coming up in a minute, they still have a lot of control over the pit. Their ward line at the moment for Legacy of Alford is pushed up a lot at the moment, but all they've got to do is clear those 2 wards, put some more wards around the pit, and it's another free dragon, giving them a 4th stack and also a gold lead as well that they've got. So, I mean, it's looking quite dire at the moment for Berliner Boys, honestly. I mean, that Aurelia is just so scary at the moment, and you know they're looking at 5 dragons, you know, in the near future. So, I mean, Berliner Boys definitely need to do something to answer. They need to answer all this aggression. I feel like if they use their Annie, because we saw in that last fight, Annie just instantly, even though she got exhausted by the Morgana, she instantly dropped 2 people. I feel like if they did fight 5v5, get the right engage with the Annie, get a good flash tips on 2 or 3 people, they can without a doubt bring back this game. But we'll have to see what they decide to do.
Yep, Dragon is up in 3 seconds, and already Legacy of Alford are in position to secure their 4th Dragon stack. They're really etching to be Super Saiyan mode, taking the page out of Goku's book. But Blue Eyes White Kid, can he try to do something? Hectox is zoning out with those spirits, and they're already getting onto this, dropping down quite quickly, but no, yes, they do secure it. Blue Banners win in. Gopher lands at Tibbets. He's already picked up 2 again. His burst damage is surreal. Fort E2 coming on from behind, jumping up to Gopher, but he gets locked up as well. That's a 3-for-none exchange in favor of Berliner Boys, and the chase is probably not over yet. Yes, it is. And now they set their sights up for that mid lane.
And you saw exactly just as I mentioned before, the exploiting the power of this Fed Annie is just so strong. They caught 3 people at the mouth of the Dragon Pit. If they maybe did that earlier, yeah, it was a potential Dragon steal as well. It was very bad luck on that fight. It was definitely the right call to engage on that fight and try and steal it, but a huge lead now. I mean, a huge sort of comeback for Berliner Boys. Jace does fall, but they're definitely going to pick up this inhib and net a few kills on the back. We'll see if they can get out of this one.
Blue Eyes White Kid's willing to sacrifice his life for the rest of the team. Now that's what you call a support of the ages. He will die eventually. Hectox just getting out to chase, but Blue Eyes doing his best to delay the inevitable and just get Spirit into the back. So that's going to be a free kill. Yeah, unfortunately.
And they're pinging
but now Legacy pinging the Baron. Very interesting decision. They're going to actually get that started on.
Well, they do have 5 members of the
Boys are completely oblivious to this
20 seconds.
Oh, but here comes Gopher. He's got Tibbet. He's got the stun. He lands it on 2. He already gets an instant double kill. He'll be able to sacrifice his life though. But Blue Brownies going in. The Baron was secured by Legacy of Alpha though. Now Funeral Pilot is going to be the next target. No, he will get away thanks to the Chompers. But Gopher, every time, blows up 2 instantly.
That's what they need to do. It was a very good choice to do that Baron then, because I mean Thresh was still dead, Jace was still dead, so it was a 5v2. But we see the power of the Annie. I mean, he went in 1v5 and still managed to pick up 2 kills instantly. There's still the only MR at the moment on the side of Legacy of Alford is Rek'Sai starting to pick up some, but aside from that, you've only really got the Quicksilver Sash on Lucian, which is not going to do anything. I mean, the Void stuff's just going to burn straight through the magic resistance that you're going to pick up from that. So Berliner Boys, if they do fight 5v5 and they do get a good Annie off, they can still definitely win this fight.
Oh, Turd had been caught out there.
That's the power of Aurelia, and Brinks picking up a free kill for themselves right there. But like you said, granted, Annie can blow up instantly as much as people want. Like if they can get to 2 people, or even 3 people in that Tibbers, just blow up and do a lot of damage. But it's not a one-man show. I mean, like you've got Ostrich who's ahead in comparison to the ADC. Even Forda E2 can 1v1 basically anybody. So it's all on Gopher if he can blow up the right targets when he gets the Tibbers down.
42 now, 10-5 on this Aurelia. Has picked up the Randuins. Just so scary right now. I mean, I feel like he could almost sort of 1v3 a few members of the Lina Boys. Oh, there is not going to be a fight in the mid. Hook just going a bit wide.
We are seeing a 1-3-1 split push siege coming out from the Legacy of Alford. Aurelia in that top lane. We've got Ostrich in that bot lane. He's got the Baroned up minions too, as well as Hectox, Brinks, and Hoodie-san pushing up in that mid lane. There goes Huddy, gets hit by the Death Sentence. Doesn't really follow it up, but that's going to tower falling down as well. As here goes Ostrich, he flashes onto Funeral Pile. He's going to pick up that kill, but he's taking a lot of tower aggro. He will live, but he gets pinged as well, so they have to be very careful. Gopher is on his way.
Oh, he does.
He's trying to go get the flash, gets Tibbers, lands on him. He blows up instantly, but that's Gopher's flash. Tibbers down. Fair time's the right time, it's now, but Huddy-san gets by the Death Sentence. He's going for Gopher, is taking a lot of damage. Forced to use the Sonya's. Hectox gets knocked up, he falls. Now Brinks is going to fall. Meanwhile, all this is happening. 42 is pushing up onto that inhibitor in that top lane. He should be able to secure that, but is it worth 4 members falling?
At least they do get the inhibitor back, so it is 1 inhibitor for each team. So, I mean, I would say definitely not worth. I mean, you lose nearly your entire team bot for an inhibitor, but I mean, Fort E2 is now clearing out the jungle, denying the blue buff away from Annie. Not that Annie is really the best person to, I mean, blue buff doesn't really benefit her that much. I mean, somebody like Nidalee, for example, is blue buff would benefit, but taking away the blue buff, at least, I mean, it still does deny the enemy team, denies the blue buff, denies the XP. And if you look at top lane, once again, look at the warding on the side of Elford. There's just pinks everywhere, there's wards everywhere, there's a deep ward line. They know everything that's going on right now.
They're getting all the vision control they'd want. They know exactly where and when the Belina boys will step into the jungle, so very good vision control coming out. Dragon is up in that 40 seconds. Legacy of Alford definitely itching to get that Super Saiyan mode. They want to become like Goku, their #1 fan. Ah, I messed it up big time. Oh well, 30 seconds away from that, and it's definitely going to be their next objective. 42 is up in that top lane, but he's got that teleport to join in whenever he needs to.
And this is the power of the teleport that we were talking before the game. I mean, no one can go with that Aurelia. Like, he can 1v1 anyone on their team. If they send 2 guys, he TPs the dragon, and it's 100% a free dragon. But it looks like he's just going to sort of wander down towards this drag. And this will be the 5th. If Legacy of Elford managed to pick up this 5th dragon, then I think it's going to be game very shortly.
Already, Belina boys have gotten the positional advantage, clearing out the pit if they could. But also, I think it's Blue Brown is just kind of 1v1ing the dragon on his own. Funeral Parlor's over the wall getting the missiles, but this is going to be very interesting. It's a smite wall. Yes, they do secure us. That's the first dragon stack going towards Belina boys, denying a blue-eye kid. Has to be careful. He's forced to flash away. There's the culling, but the chase is on. Hectox, even 42. They want on the spear. It is enough. No, it's not. He's still getting away, but the chase is on. Here he comes again. No, he misses, and that's going to be surviving another day.
Just so scary on those spears, but well played definitely by Belina boys here. Denying the 5th dragon for Legacy of Elford, just so important. Viet just flashing the pit, definitely worth it. But they're getting aggressed on right here in the mid lane. Another turret going down. 8 to 5 turrets now.
Flash
in favor of Legacy of Elford.
Yep. 8-5 turrets. The goal lead is in favor of Legacy of Alford as well. That 4K lead, it was only about 10 minutes ago. They were behind by 1K, so they're doing quite well for themselves. Fortunately, they couldn't secure that 5th dragon. It sucks. But now they are able to back away and buy some big items if they could.
We'll have to see what they can do here. They've got the wards, they've I mean, one more Dragon, and then Legacy of Elford. We got Baron coming up in a minute. I mean, I honestly think the best thing that Elford can do right now is just aggress on this Baron.